Tuesday night Kreuger show. Raj is in the house. We got a lot to get to. Let's go. Welcome to the Kreuger show. Tuesday night. Raj is in the house. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Also, 49er football season, all season long this year, was presented by our good friend Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stat, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. Also, thanks to Habas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Kreuger show. We love Habas Law. We'll talk more about them in a bit. But guess who's in the house? That's right, the great Raj Melwani, the czar of all that is RSF for you.
What's up, Larry?
You guys can do better than that.
I like the clapping track. The intro is nice, but yeah. What's up? How you doing? What a day! What a day! A lot of news.
Hey, you've been busy.
Yeah.
You're busy. You're busy. You're posting. You got lots of things going on. John Lynch met the media for the first time today since the Niners got ousted, and there were a number of different things that going on. Why don't we start? We'll just go right down the line. Lynch says he's pretty happy with how the Niners starters are on their offensive line. However, he noted that, with Burford being a free agency, left guard might need to be addressed. But he definitely, the Niners seem to like their offensive line, which, it's kind of really annoying because they couldn't run up the middle when they needed a yard. But, here we are a month removed, and it's like it's all forgotten.
I know. Yeah, it's like, did you like getting manhandled against Seattle in that NFC playoff game? Like that, to me, I get it. Like, I know they want to be proactive to their, be positive towards their players. They don't want to throw anybody under the bus. We've sat here and talked about it before, how much, Chris Forster loves Jake Brendel. He's the bee's knees. But at some point, you have to take a look at your lineup and say, look, man, this is not good enough. Trent Williams, we'll talk about that situation. Other than Trent Williams, Dominic Pooney was good in his rookie season. He regressed. He was hurt last year. Other than that, I don't know, man. That O-line had Brock Purdy running for his life, and we can't have that happen again. Like, Brock got down, he got hurt. You need to protect your quarterback that you're paying a lot of money for. So definitely not the greatest endorsement for 49ers offseason if you think they're going to get an offensive lineman like Tyler Linderbaum. But it could all be smoke, because a lot of times during this combine, and they're not going to tip their hand towards anybody. They're not going to, oh, yeah, we want to get all new offensive linemen. Maybe they will. But, he's got to be nice to his O-line. But I'm sure Niner fans were not happy when he said, oh, we love our offensive starters. So I know most fans want to move away from Jake Brendel.
Yeah. I wonder why. Maybe because they went to the game. I don't know. Maybe because they watched the game. I understand Brendel's got a year left in his contract, but so fucking what? Here we go. Here's Lynch earlier today talking about Trent Williams. And the big story of the day was that Adam Schefter put out the Niners may wind up releasing Trent Williams if they can't come to an agreement on a contract restructuring with the future Hall of Fame left tackle. Here's Lynch addressing Trent Williams in Indy.
In recent weeks, I've met with both Trent and with his agent, Vincent Taylor, and had really good, productive, and substantive meetings. And so here's what I know. Trent loves being a Niner. We love having Trent as a Niner. And it's up to us to figure that out and to thread that needle. There's some unique circumstances in that we all know what Trent is as a player, how great of a player he's been. He's going to be 38 years old. And so there's some things that go into that. But I think we're all on the same page and feel very positive about where that's going.
So what's your read there? I mean, I think they want him and they want him back, but at the same time, they want some kind of a cheaper version of him because he's older, and he's looking at this going, hey, supply and demand, baby. You don't like me, go put Austin Pleasance out there. And so he's going to win. I mean, he's going to win because he can still do it.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. At the end of the day, Trent Williams has all the leverage here. Like you said, he can use Austin Pleasance as, oh, this is the guy you're going to replace me with. I'm out. Like, I'm hitting the door. Obviously, 38 years old. John Lynch dropped that, mentioned his age. I don't think he should have, but we all know he's getting up there. Father Time's catching up. How many more years can Trent Williams sustain to play? He says he wants to play till he's 40, right? I'm sure he can do it. Trent Williams is 101. He's like one of the best offensive linemen in the history of the NFL. So, for Trent, he's like, look, I can leave. I'll go somewhere else. I'll still be a great player. Like, that's the thing. Most people at 38 probably aren't playing the way Trent Williams, is at his age. But he's a monster, Hall of Famer, surefire Hall of Famer. So it's tough. But at the same time, I see where the Niners are coming from, where they do want to save money. They do want to add some other players. They know they got to, improve themselves. But I feel like this is all the 49ers fault over the years of not investing in the O-line, not trying to get a guy to be the heir apparent of Trent Williams. Because if they said, okay, there's a money issue and we don't want to work it out this year, you can hit the free agent market. Trent, we love you. But now we have, I don't know, just throw Rashawn Slater or something just to be, as an example, Tristan Wirfs. If they would have got somebody like that, they would have had the heir apparent and would have been okay. But they didn't. And now they've kind of put themselves in a corner because you're right. Austin Pleasance is that left tackle if Trent leaves. I think they'll figure it out. This happens with Trent Williams every year, and I think he's just trying to get his final little bag before he retires, right? He might have 2 more years left in him. Let's get a little bit more of that money before he leaves.
They're going to work it out. He wants to be here. They want him here. They're going to work it out. Now, Lynch also was asked about Jauan Jennings. He said, we've been in contact with Jauan. We'll see where that goes. This is going to be one of those things where I'm not sure what his market's going to be, because we don't know who values him. People might look at him and say, hey, you know what? His target to yardage ratio this year wasn't very good, and he's kind of slow, and he's had some injuries, and he's probably already played his best ball, and probably their 3rd best receiver, and he's a product of Shanahan and all this stuff. I just think that there may be a market for Jennings from astute general managers and know that he's like kind of a cold-blooded winner. But there also may be, less of a market than we think because of all the reasons I just kind of mentioned. So I get the sense that Lynch wants him back. Shanahan wants him back. They're not going to extend very much for him, but they want him back. He seemed weepy at the end of the year because he seemed like he didn't want to leave, but maybe forced to leave. It'll be interesting to see what other teams value him. It sounds like the Niners are like, go shop your wares around the league and come back and let us know what you got, and if we can do something, we will. That's my takeaway, which may not be the way JJ wants it to come down, but that's the ruthless side of business. It's like, we're not going to pay you more than a nickel more than we need to, but we want to pay you because look at their wide receiver core if they don't have him. So, I mean, he's a very key guy. How do you think the things are going to play out with Jennings?
He's gone, man. To me, that was right on the wall. He at the end of the season at the goodbye press conference, he broke down. I think he realizes he's probably outpriced himself for the Niners. And I think we all agree that it's not that the Niners don't want to bring him back. He's going to price himself out. It's happened many times. Last year, Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, 2 perfect examples. They wanted to bring him back. Absolutely. And John Lynch is going to give us the lip service, the PR answers. Yeah, we've met with him. We'll see. He says, we'll see where it goes. That's it. He kept it pretty short and simple. He says, we've talked with them. We'll see where it goes. And I'm sure he wants to, open the door and say, hey, JJ, come back. But if he gets an offer of 20, 22 million on the market, I think he's as good as gone. I think JJ's played hard over the last couple of years. He was a 7th round pick. Didn't really play his first season because he tore his hamstring. And I think he realized, hey, man, I worked my ass off. I need to get some money for what I feel is worth. I can see him going to Tennessee. He's a Tennessee hero. You got Robert Salah over there. I think he'd be a great veteran over there. There's a lot of options for him on the table. I think he's going to test that market, and he's going to see the money, and he's going to bolt. And the Niners need to get younger, faster. We all love Jauan. He's going to be missed as a clutch receiver, but the Niners need to get some young players. And when Lynch was talking about Jennings today, he kind of pivoted and was talking about Jacob Cowing. So I feel like they know they got to get the youth players. They got to develop these young players. We don't know if Jacob Cowing can be anything on this team, but they want to give him a chance. And he's younger. He's a lot cheaper. We'll see where he goes.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob Cowing has been given they've treated him like he's on scholarship. I mean, seriously, they have treated him with such kid gloves. He's gotten such baby treatment. If you think about it, he hasn't played. He hasn't done a damn thing. All he's done has been hurt and hurt and hurt some more. And they just don't want to admit that they picked the wrong guy. And so they're just going to wait and wait and wait. I mean, that's my read on it. I like this guy in college, but I mean, he's too weak. He's not getting it done. He can't stay upright. He can't get on the field. He can't stay healthy. And they just don't want to admit that they blew another pick. So it's like, you know what? We're just going to, and I understand why, because he was good in college, but man, if you really think you're going to bolster your receiving core because of Cowing, you know, that's going to be a hard sell to Niner fans.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what they're saying is we got to use the younger players. They got Jordan Watkins. That's another one. Ricky Pearsall, all those three guys they drafted over the last couple of years, Larry, they haven't been anything compared to Jauan Jennings. So it will be a big loss when Jennings leaves, because I don't think he's come back. I'll be very shocked if Jennings walks back through that door and he's a Niner. But that just tells me that they have to put a lot of emphasis on this receiver position. There's a lot of rumors, you know, veterans, drafts. I don't know, man, but they got to do something with this wide receiver room, because if they lose Jennings, which I think they are, his wide receiver room got even worse, which is crazy, because you look at this receiver room and right now you're like, it's pretty bad. You lose Jennings, it's really bad.
Well, it's really bad as it is. Yeah. Would you trade Ayuk a second and a fifth for AJ Brown? Because I saw that deal rumored today, and when I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, I think I'd do that. But the more I think about where AJ Brown is, you know, maybe I would give one pick, but I don't think I want to give two, and I don't think I want to give a second. That's too high. That situation has deteriorated. They need to make a move. You don't get a second round pick when you need to make a move. I would say I would say here's Ayuk in a third. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's I saw that. I think Bleacher Report posted it at some point on one of their rumors, and it was the second and a fifth. The second and a fifth. That's too much. I mean, Brandon Ayuk's worth nothing. That's just you throwing him up. Let's see what happens. You could have Brandon Ayuk for free, basically, for a 7th round pick. The fifth round pick, I think, is not enough to get a guy like AJ Brown. I think 3rd, 4th would be doable. Now you give up that 2nd round pick. Now you're just giving him away a pick, and I think you need to keep that pick. So I think AJ Brown, you know, he's over the last 2 years, he hasn't been what he was when he first came in the league. Good player. He came in the same time as Debo, so he's around that age. So it's not like he's younger. You're not getting any younger, but he's a very tough physical receiver. And that's what you would replace with Jauan Jennings, is a very physical receiver. But he's also got some drama. You know, he's had a lot of issues over the last couple of years, you know, antics and things like that. So I don't know if I'm like really sold on AJ Brown, but if we got him for the right price, of course, I'd be happy with him. I know there's other rumors. Mike Evans, I don't think he'd be a bad addition as a veteran. But if you go get Mike Evans, Larry, you need to make sure you get a young star receiver, because he could be like a good veteran mentor, and a big deep threat, go up and get it type guy. I think he's still productive, but he can't be your end all be all wide receiver that you add to this locker room this offseason.
I mean, the Niners need a lot at receiver. Yeah. They need Pearsall to play better if he's going to be on this team. They need Watkins and Cowing to be heard from. You know, they need their Demarcus Robinson's got to play better. They need a go pattern speed threat, but they also need a chain mover, big bodied, tough guy receiver. I mean, they have a lot of needs at wide receiver for sure. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, fired by the Vikings, former Niner exec, is coming back into the fold. Dieter made reference to this about a week to 10 days ago, that there was a hire coming that would reshape the front office. I don't know that this really does. You know, I mean, it gives them another voice, but is this guy out? You know, is this guy gonna somehow create? Is he gonna overrule Shanahan and Lynch? I don't see it. To me, it seems just like just another guy in the room that I don't want to say he's a yes man because I don't know him well, but just a guy in the room that's going to be part of their process, but not like a lead dog kind of a guy. What's your read on Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah returning to the Niners from Minnesota?
Yeah, so from what I read and what I heard, I mean, he called Lynch personally. I guess they had some good, relationship, and he was on the Niners front office before they overlapped. So I'm sure he kept a relationship with John Lynch. The Niners are in the game of always bringing back good for, like, if you're ever part of the 49ers organization, you could probably come back down the line. And that's what it is. They brought back Saleh. They brought back, Kendrick Bourne this year. They brought back everybody. They bring him back, man. They bring him back, Kwesi. So I think it's just them saying, okay, let's give you another opportunity. Let's give you a position. And you know what? I feel like the 49ers are going to say, hey, let's give him a position. And eventually down the line, maybe he gets another GM opportunity. I know he wasn't that greatest GM with the Vikings, so I got canned, right? So I feel like if they give him an opportunity and then he proves himself, maybe he can get another GM job down the line. You never know. And then they can get some comp picks. So I feel like the 49ers are looking at it that way. And again, they just like to be surrounded by people they know, they trust. John Lynch, and him, like I said, have a relation. Kyle Shanahan, he brought back Raheem Morris, right? That was a guy that he's been connected with over the years. So he kind of brought back his friends. 49ers, they like to have their friends there and, celebrate and win together. So I feel like that's what it is. I don't think it's going to be like a groundbreaking type hire, but from what I understand, he's like an analytics guy. And I think that's what got him that GM job. And hey, the analytics the 49ers have done lately in their drafts hasn't been working. So maybe you get another set of eyes and let's see if it helps.
Makes you wonder too. I mean, with the rumors being Mac Jones to Minnesota, there might be some interest from Minnesota and Mac Jones. Could a guy like Kwesi, who drafted, a number of these guys, he drafted J.J. McCarthy, he drafted Dallas Turner, he drafted Walter Rouse, the former Stanford player, he drafted probably Jordan Addison. Do they try to make a deal with Minnesota, sending Mac over there and getting one of their guys? I'll tell you right now, Dallas Turner is the kind of edge rush piece that I would be very eager to get. If I could move Mac Jones to Minnesota and get Dallas Turner, I'd be very happy with that.
That'd be nice. And I definitely do think bringing in these old, coaches and front office members from other teams is going to give the Niners some leverage in getting some other players. And I think Addison would be someone the 49ers definitely look into. We talked about wide receiver. I know he's had some trouble off the field, but I mean, he checks the boxes of what the 49ers need, man. Speed, a good receiver that can actually go out there and catch the ball on a deep route and run the route tree. And he's a good player. So you can bring him in. Hopefully he can stay, keep his head level. And Kwesi knows him. So he could say, hey, look, yeah, well, okay. We know he had some issues, but we think he's a good guy. He'll fit in your team. Same thing with Raheem Morris. He has some connections with the Falcons. So you never know. I think Kirk Cousins would be a guy that the 49ers might bring in if they do trade Mac Jones. We'll see how it goes.
That's another interesting name. Matt Barrows had some interesting reports the last couple of days. One of them was that the Niners are not going to be active in free agency. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I was a little I wouldn't say shocked, but I was a little like, wow, okay. I mean, because I think you have to, right? There's some 49ers. They got to keep up with the Seattle Seahawks. You got to keep up with the Rams, right? To stay afloat in the NFC West. So I think they should. I don't know if that report, it's just, opinion piece. Sometimes he will say his piece, like on a podcast, just like me and you, he'll write his articles and, he could be hit or miss, but I think the 49ers will be a little bit more aggressive than he's making it out to be. I could be 100% wrong, but I hope they are, because the Niners do need to get some help this offseason. And they always seem to get some signings. Last year, they didn't have like a splashy offseason, but they did make some moves. Maybe he's thinking it's going to be something like last year where they went and got a lot of special teams players and things of that nature. But I don't know. I hope the 49ers make at least one splash because, I mean, like we said, this team is missing a lot of key pieces. You need some edge rushers. You need some offensive line. You need some speed at wide receiver. Maybe go get a safety. So I hope he's wrong, Larry, at that point.
Yeah, my thing is this. The Niners have needs on both sides of the ball. Now, if I were the Niners, I'd bring back the special teams guys. Like today, they re-signed John Weeks. I would re-sign Sky Moore. I'd re-sign Eddie Pinheiro. I'd re-sign Thomas Morstead. I'd bring back the special teams crew because they and just for continuity purposes. But But I think I would use the free agency to fill my offensive needs and look and veterans and then fill my defensive needs in the draft. Like, give an example. They need a quarterback. I like the idea of going after Kirk Cousins when the Vikings release him. He would be a post-June 1st signing. I kind of like that. See what happens in the draft. If nothing happens, go sign Kirk Cousins after the draft. So I like that one. At running back, Kenneth Gainwell, Lombardi threw out that name today. I like that name. I like David Montgomery, who might be a cap casualty by Detroit. At wide receiver, I like Romeo Doubs. I think that would be a nice addition. At tight end, there's a number of guys that are going to be cap casualties. Like Cole Kmet from the Bears makes a lot of sense. I mentioned Nick Allegretti as a left guard idea. I think he makes a lot of sense. So these are low-cost free agents that are not going to break the bank. And then I think you load up on defense in the draft. What did you think of the other report that Barrows had, that the Niners are not going to put the franchise tag on Eddie Pinheiro? They don't want to spend a lot of money on him. They liked what they got out of Matt Gay in a game or so last year, and that they're Eddie is going to want more, like closer to $4 or $5 million, and they're offering between $2 and $3 million. Are they going to lose out on Eddie Pinheiro because of a couple $1 million? That is really going to piss me off if that happens.
It's gonna really piss me off. It's gonna piss you off. It's gonna piss everybody in this chat off. It's gonna be irritating because yesterday that was what Barrows had said, and then today John Lynch confirmed that we're pretty much not gonna use the franchise tag on a kicker, which would be $6 million. Which I know it's a hefty price, but he saved the season. Let's be honest. Without Eddie Pinheiro, man, you don't win as many games as he did. He put this team on his back many times. I'd be sick if we lose this guy and then they have to go get another kicker. And then if we're in the same position as we were when they had Jake Moody, it's going to be frustrating and people are going to be pissed off. And all you got to do is pay him what he deserves. He earned that money, Larry. He earned that money. So
the only points you freaking scored in the Seattle game were his 2 field goals.
And the game before that. Like, literally, he carried this team so much this year. And if they lose out on him, it's going to be very disgusting. So I know John today says they are very hopeful. They are working towards a deal he's giving us all the optimism. Of course, he's going to say all the optimistic things, but for not using, they could have just done it this week and just used the franchise tag on him and boom, it wouldn't even be a thing. And then they could work towards a long-term deal after that. They're not even doing that. So I think eventually, it will get settled out. I think the Niners will re-sign him and get an extension unless there's a team that gives them just a crazy offer in free agency. And based on what he did this year, I think teams that really need a kicker are going to drop him a bag. So I just hope we don't lose out on him. I'm going to be mad.
Bosa, McKell, Collins, and Keon White, according to Lynch, they're all going to be ready for training camp in mid-July. I mean, it's really good news on Keon White because we didn't know what was going on there. He got shot in the ankle. Unbelievably, he's ready for camp in July. And then Mikael Williams was another one. We weren't really sure about his timeline and the fact that he's ready for the start of camp, according to Lynch. And these are all good signs. Bosa, McKell, Collins, and Keon White all should be key players on their front. And according to John, they'll be ready for training camp. Couple other notes, on trading Mac Jones, he said somebody would have to bowl us over. Somebody would have to come with something fairly strong. I don't know. And yet it's funny. Everybody's got a different take on this. Dieter's like, they're going to keep Mac Jones. There's no buzz about Mac Jones, but then guys like Barrows are reporting that that there's a robust market. I think just forget a source. Like, I have no sources, but I know enough about football to tell you that Mac Jones is going to be coveted. Somebody's going to come with a really good offer for Mac Jones this offseason, just on supply and demand. I mean, that's all I need to see. Just show me the other quarterbacks. I know how many teams need a quarterback. That's all I need to see. There's nothing that you can say that makes me think that Mac Jones is coming back here. I know they like him, but you know what? They have too many needs. They have to move Mac Jones to fill some of those needs. I think 5% chance he's back at best.
25%?
5.
5% chance you think he's coming back. Yeah, I'd say maybe.
I don't give him much chance to come back because I think they absolutely want to contend, and they're going to look at. They only have half dozen picks or something like that in the draft.
Seven picks.
They have 7 picks. I mean, they have 12 needs. There's no way they're going to fill their needs and be a playoff contender without trading Jones and getting at least 2 of their needs filled through the Jones trade.
Initially I thought I was kind of on your boat that they're going to trade him. They're going to trade him, and I still think they have a very strong likelihood because they're going to get a lot of offers, and then there's a lot of rumors out there saying X team wants to go for him. And if you look at the draft, it's not a really QB strong draft, and I think teams are going to look at the Niners and throw a big draft pick. But I honestly think if the 49ers if they really think this is their O-line, I think they're going to keep Mac Jones because I think that you got to know this O-line is not keeping Brock Purdy healthy for a stretch. There's going to be a stretch where Brock Purdy has to miss maybe 3 games. You need Mac Jones. Do you really think Curtis Rourke's going to come in and be able to win games at this point? Who knows? I don't think he's ready yet. So I think when it's all said and done, when the dust clears, I think Mac Jones will still be on the 49ers roster just because they know they have to have that insurance policy for Brock Purdy. But can I see him getting traded? Absolutely, because he's going to be a very hot commodity in the next couple of weeks. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate on you, Larry. I'm gonna say that he stays with the Niners.
I mean, I'm not rooting for him to be gone. I like Mac Jones, and I'd be pissed if they gave him away for nothing. But to me, look at all the teams that don't have quarterbacks. These teams, I mean, like I've heard people say, "Oh no, this team's going with Jacoby Brissett." I'm like, what? You're gonna have teams going with Jacoby Brissett instead of offering something for Mac Jones? I don't know, man.
I mean, it'll be shocking if they don't trade him. I know, and that's what I'm saying. It's definitely a shocker. But I can see that the 49ers, they like him. So Kyle Shanahan loves Mac Jones. He's wanted this guy since he was in the draft, right? Coming out a couple years back, and it's been confirmed many times. And I just think that their love for Mac Jones is going to prevent them from trading him out. And they're going to get a good, and it's going to come out a couple months later. Adam Schefter, the 49ers were offered, and we're going to freak out. Oh my God, he should have taken it. Like it always does. Because news always seems to come out like right before a game, like is playing, right? And then Schefter will say, well, back in March, the 49ers were offered 2 second-round picks for Mac Jones. And we're going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? I can't believe something like that's going to happen. I think the Niners are I don't know. That's my take on it. I think they're going to keep him, and they are going to get offered a high amount of draft picks. I think they're going to keep him.
Why? I mean, if things go well, he doesn't play at all.
I know, but they need that insurance. Let's make a bet.
We can bet whatever you want. I personally just think that, I mean, I don't want you to bet a lot because I don't want you to lose a lot.
I don't want to lose my money.
I don't want you to lose a lot because I know, here's my thing is that, it's like, I kind of know that there's no way they can keep him because here's the thing. There's also like what he wants and what's best for him. And, yes, they could do what's best for them, but is it really what's best for him? I mean, what's best for him is to go somewhere where he can be $20 million a year.
The team's got to look out for their best interests at this point. Yeah, so totally, this bet will be sponsored by Sleeper, Larry. We'll make a bet.
Okay. We can wager on that because I don't see that happening. I don't see them keeping him just because it's like it's too fancy. It's like my second car is a Lambo. It's like, no, you don't. Yeah, you don't have a front door, you don't have a roof, but you have a second car in your garage. It's like a Lambo. I don't know.
It's hard to get rid of that Lambo, though, Larry. Let's
it's hard to get rid of the Lambo, but
$50.
I don't see it.
Bet.
We'll do a $50 bet. All right. I was talking to somebody down the Niners this week, and they made the point that Jed York has now replaced Dr. John York as the guy with the Niners. Like when the league has their meetings where every team brings one representative, that representative used to be Dr. John York. That representative is now Jed York. Jed is the guy. It's his team. And the person that I was talking to was saying that, with the rise of the Niners and Eddie and Carmen and these guys being around, that they've that they've broken bread over there with some of these guys, and that there's some groundswell of momentum to say, hey, you know what? Now's the right time to bring Eddie and Carmen home.
Please.
And I personally think that it should happen. Now, some people would say, well, in what role? I mean, Eddie's not going to own the team again. No, he's not going to have controlling interest of the team, but like those guys are part of the Niner family. Jed talks about the family. Heck, him and Eddie is his godfather. They are family. If you bring it, these guys are long in the tooth. If you bring them back after they're no longer with us, it's just kind of like it's a ceremonial thing. It doesn't have the same power. If you bring them back now, it says, hey, these guys are part of the 49er family. I mean, Eddie D, love him, hate him, whatever. He's probably the most beloved owner in the history of Bay Area sports. Carmen Policy is the Teflon Don of all time. This guy traded Joe Montana and Charles Haley. Crazy. And is still beloved.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Who gives away Joe Montana in San Francisco and trades Charles Haley to the Cowboys only to see them win 3 Super Bowls and become America's team again? And still he's beloved. So it's like, I think the guy that said this to me is right, that the time is right for Eddie and Carmen to come home. The Niners should make an announcement, bring them back. Eddie as a ownership consultant officially, Carmen as, a front office consultant, and let people interview Carmen and let him talk about the Niners from within, bring them back in. Because, here's the bottom line. What did Carmen do when he was here?
They won games. They won
games, but he basically protected Eddie. And what does Jed need? Jed needs protection. Jed just started talking about Jerry Rice at the Super Bowl when he was asked about the substation. That's
John Lynch did that today too.
That is a major PR screw up. Yeah. That is, he should not be talking like that. He should not be talking, period. And it's like Carmen Policy so smooth. Carmen Policy could argue one thing and you would agree with him, and then he could flip around and then argue the opposite, and you would agree with him again because he's that good. His arguments are that compelling. He's that sharp of a guy. Jed doesn't have anybody like that. Eddie had Carmen to make him look good. They should bring back Carmen and Eddie to make the organization look better. It's the right thing to do. It'll be good PR. The fans will like it. Plus then, when people ask Carmen Policy about moves that Niners make, he can spin it, and he's a great spinner.
Yeah. He could talk his way out of a paper bag. Like
he would put the substation thing. He
put it to bed, man. Not John Lynch and Jed York. They're not doing any service to this substation. Did you hear? John Lynch today was asked about it to Chase Senior. Of course, Chase Senior has been at the top of this substation topic from the beginning, right? So he asked him and Grant Cohn asked John Lynch. I think Chase has, you can pull it up if you want. But he asked him, well, what do you think about the substation? Do you think it's going to deter people from, signing in free agency? And he deflected just like York. And, we have a rich history. And I think that's what people should, look into. The rich history of all the players and this and that and da-da-da. Like those players like Ronnie Lott and Jerry Rice, listen, man, those players aren't walking through the door anymore. I get it. You guys have a rich history, but you're not answering the question. So I don't know, man. I totally agree with you. If they were to get Carmen Policy and Eddie D back, you know how many fans would go crazy just to bring him back in some capacity for his team? Would have been better than whatever, Adolfo.
Kwesi.
Kwesi.
Let me pull that up because you mentioned that Chase Senior has that.
But it's never happened.
I'm gonna share this. You guys can take a look at this. We'll let you hear this. Here's Chase Senior asking John Lynch about our favorite topic, the substation.
Love it.
My God, this substation thing is making me sick.
during Super Bowl week, there were some players around the NFL who said, yeah, maybe the substation theory can impact the Niners' ability to attract free agents. There were others, including Christian McCaffrey, who said, no, I'd love to play for the Niners.
Yeah.
Do you think that could impact what your plans are, players coming to San Francisco in free agency?
I sure hope. I don't think so. We have a tremendous place to live, to play, an iconic organization. Some of the things at Super Bowl, the very first event that I kind of went to was a Night of Champions, some Omaha Productions put on it. And man, I can't tell you, I kind of went just to support the guys that were up on stage. And it was Chris Berman moderated a thing with Joe, John Taylor, Tommy Rathman. It was Eric Wright and Ronnie Lott, Keena Turner, and Harris Barton were all there as well. And man, the privilege that you felt to be a part of this organization, that's what I think people feel when they think about the Niners and a team they got a chance to compete at the highest level and compete for championships. That's what I think people will think about.
When your own players express concern about it, though, what's your approach? Do you want to educate them? Do you need to bring in your own scientists and research? What do you do?
Well, I think when you talk about, and I said this earlier, me having been a player, anything our players, especially when it comes to health and safety, which is so important, absolutely we'll look into that. Working with our team to do just that. Encouraged by some of the early things, our chief medical officer, Dr. Sills, came out and basically stated that there's no literature that speaks to that being an issue. So we'll continue to monitor that. And, there's so many great things about being a Niner, and I think that will carry the day. We'll obviously always look into the concerns that our players might have.
Well, I mean, it's an answer. I don't know if it's the answer that I wanted to hear, but they feel like they've debunked it. We're going to find out, right? Because the free agents get to decide on their own.
It's true.
And I'll just say this. If the 49ers get to day 3 of free agency and they haven't signed anybody, there's going to be an absolute meltdown on 49er Twitter, 49er YouTube, 49er content creators. There's going to be a meltdown, and people are going to be going off half-cocked. It's Lynch has got to go. Jed's got to go. The substation is the reason nobody's signing. The Niners don't know what they're doing. It is going to be ugly. I guarantee you, because I get the feeling if you said to me, make a prediction on what the Niners are going to do based on what I've heard and read and all that, I would say Niners are going to take a very circumspect look, very conservative look at free agency. I don't see them signing a big, huge name guys. I don't think they're going to sign guys in mass. I think they're going to have a very targeted, select free agent signings of like what I would call tier 2 and 3 guys. A Kenneth Gainwell, a Nick Allegretti, somebody like that, a Willie Gay, a linebacker who can really run. Somebody, guys that aren't going to break the bank, guys that are just like good. They're good fits for the roster, but they're not going to break the bank. So I don't think they're going to go for like a big name guy. And if they don't sign anybody for the first couple of days, the way it's going to work. Tons of people are going to be flying off the board, and people are going to be losing their mind.
Oh, yeah.
They're not signing anybody because of the substation. Jed's got to go. This guy's got to go. Everybody's got to go. So I think that's just the way it is. We're going to find out over time how much credence the players put into this.
Yeah, we'll see, man. You're right. At the end of the day, we're gonna find out in a couple of weeks. And man, if it's day 3 of free agency, Larry, and they haven't signed anybody, you damn right people are gonna lose their mind.
People are gonna lose it. People are gonna lose it.
Like I said earlier,
is gonna be the topic. It's gonna be
they'll blame it on that. And like I said earlier, I think they'll do like a lot of, like you said, I think mid-tier. I think they'll get players like last year, but I hope they get at least one splash. And if that splash ends up being Debo, it's not going to be a good splash.
Oh my God! If it winds up being Debo, my God,
that could be their splash.
That would be a disaster.
I know.
We should tell everybody 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Kreuger Show. All right, what are we going to go with here? We're going to go with some NBA stats.
I mean, that's really
what do we got here? We got some NBA.
You got tomorrow any game?
Gonna,
OKC Detroit.
Okay. Let's take a look at OKC Detroit. OKC Detroit. How about Jalen Duren? Or
give me a double-double. Can you give me a double-double?
Let's go to Duren. He's right there. There you go. Duren. Jalen Duren. God.
Points and rebounds, 27.5. He had 25-14 last game. What's he doing? He's putting up some numbers.
Yeah, points and rebounds. Let's go more on the points and rebounds. I like that. More on the points.
No, wait, that's the wrong. You put points, rebounds, assists. Go back. Yeah, that one, 27.
There we go. All right. You see anything else you like?
What about Cade Cunningham?
I like Cade Cunningham.
He's the man, MVP.
Let's go with the points over. More points than that. Cunningham's is quite the scorer.
He is. If they got to beat OKC, he's got to put up some points. What about OKC?
Yeah, is Chet going here? Do we have anything on Chet, or is Chet hurt?
I think he's playing. I saw him play, I think, the other day.
I don't see Chet, though. I don't see OKC, period.
I don't see anybody on their team, yeah. It's all they just gave us Spurs players.
Okay.
Or not Spurs, Pistons players. And now you change it to Spurs.
Yeah, let's go to a different game. Not liking that game.
Oh God, Sacramento.
Wow.
It was terrible.
Let's go Sacramento.
Oh my God.
Let's go DeRozan. DeRozan, 14 and a half points.
If he can't score more than 14.5 points, he need to put the flag.
Let's say more than 14 and a half for DeRozan.
What about let's look? They're playing Houston. Let's put some Houston players. Kevin Durant.
How many 12-year-olds does he battle with on Twitter?
Man.
Over unders 3.5.
No.
More. He's going to battle with more 14-year-olds.
3-pointers, 2.5, 3 more. He can make more. He can make 3-pointers. No.
What's the 9.5? What's this 9.5? Is that rebounds?
Assist and rebound.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with more than 9.5 assist and rebounds.
Okay.
For KD. All right, let's see what we got.
He's been putting in some work lately.
Let's make our wager. We're betting $5 to win. Was that 51.40?
Okay, that's pretty
51.
good.
That's not bad. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Kreuger Show. Get 100% deposit match up to $100. Links in the description. Use code Larry, LARRY. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Kreuger Show.
Boy, Larry betting on the Kings, man.
Yeah, that's bad.
Deep in the off season right here.
Man, I need to take in a Gamblers Anonymous meeting.
Yeah, bro.
I'm betting on the Kings. I got issues. All right, here we go. We got some supers here. You're gonna have to read them for me because right now I'm kind of blind without my contacts.
Good.
Here we go.
Yeah, hit these. Let's get them.
We got this one.
Nation 247. He says, "Will the NFL have games in Mexico after the cartel?"
Yes. Something tells me the cartel will be throwing out the first pitch.
So you still think Niners playing in Mexico this year?
Yeah, I think they're still good. There's a lot of time between now and then. I might think twice about going.
Same. 49ers throwback, my boy. Let's go. He says, "What can you say? Welcome back, GM Quetzi Adolfo Mensa." It says, "Appears Raj ain't that hype for the offseason, but I get it. Can't allow John Lynch to fool you with free agency and the draft. Warriors lost tonight." Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm not hyped. I'm just It's still got a couple more weeks. Give me 2 more weeks. I'll be super hyped up. But
You got to show me. We got to be shown. Last year was an underwhelming off season for sure.
correct.
Free agency wise, at least.
Yeah. Ben Affleck's double chin says, who was a better wide receiver, Brandon Lloyd or Javon Walker?
What kind of a question is that? We talking about Javon Walker, that bust from Florida State, and Brandon Lloyd, that bust from Illinois. I mean, they were both busts. I mean, Javon Walker had a good day or two. Brandon Lloyd had a good day or two. They both sucked. I'll go with Lloyd because I think he had better ball skills. Walker was a better athlete. Brandon Lloyd, I thought Brandon Lloyd was going to be really good. Brandon Lloyd made one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. That one-handed grab on the goal line. Remember that down the middle?
Yeah, that was insane.
It's freaking amazing. He had huge hands, great hands, kind of like an Odell Beckham hands. But he couldn't really separate. I'll go. That's a rando question right
That's
there.
A crazy random question.
That is a rando.
His
But
profile
we
is
appreciate it.
crazy. Yeah.
And we have this one.
Alexander McDonald, R3G, says, will the 49ers get a comp pick for Saleh and Fleury down the line? Also, do you like Joel Bonito from Cleveland? He is a fit, and what would he cost?
Joel Bitonio. Bitonio, yes. Yeah, Bitonio I do like. In fact, Shanahan was the OC, I believe, in Cleveland. Was he the OC? He was there in Cleveland when the Browns drafted Joel Bitonio out of Nevada. And Bitonio is a tough ass. So, yes, I do like the idea of Bitonio plugging in at left guard for a year. I like Nick Allegretti, who I think is cheaper, but Bitonio would probably be even a better pickup. I wouldn't mind signing both of them, to be honest. I like the idea of bolstering their offensive line. Part of the reason that the Niners keep sticking with, Brendel throughout the year is that they don't have anybody else. They've got Drake Nugent and Matt Hennessy. It's like, you know what? If you had a Nick Allegretti sitting right there, then it would be like, hey, if Brendel doesn't play well, you yank him, So that's the way I look at that. And
second part, he wants to know if we get comp picks for Saleh and Fleury. No, we don't.
No. Yeah, the way it works is they have to – if Saleh had stayed 2 years with the Niners, then they would have gotten comp picks. Yeah. Because he only stayed 1 year, they don't get comp picks.
and Fleury,
Fleury's a Caucasian guy.
He's a Caucasian boy. Yeah, we ain't getting draft picks. And also, he didn't go and get a head coach or a GM position. He became offensive coordinator, which is an upgrade, but he's a Caucasian man getting an offensive coordinator job. It's not going to happen.
It's a ridiculous rule.
Minority rule. It's crazy.
It's a stupid rule. I mean, come on. Let's be honest, dude. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous rule.
Hey, look, Larry, if I was on the 49ers staff as quality control coach and I proved my worth and then I became offensive or a head coach for another team, guess what? I'd be getting you guys some comp picks. So you never know.
I mean, it's kind of like well, whatever. I'm not even going to get into it.
It's so crazy.
It's just ridiculous. On so many levels, it's ridiculous.
Someone said, listen, real quick. Someone said Mike McDaniel is not, minority. He is. He is. So that's why we got comp picks from Mike McDaniel, because he actually is mixed, right? So put that one in your knowledge bank.
It's going to be one of these things at some point where, somebody's going to have to research their genealogy to figure out that, actually I am 0.5% Cherokee and thus the Niners get a 3rd round pick. I mean, it's like, it's getting things like this. Quotas based on race, I think are really bad. Go ahead. You want one more here?
Yeah. Okay. Keith O'Shiro says, hey, middle finger to you, Larry. Any chance we can get Tyler Linderbaum?
Any chance? Yes. A high chance? No. And here's the thing. If you ask me, what are the actual chances? 0.
Yeah.
Why? Because the Niners have Brendel under contract for 1 more year. Lynch just told everybody for the 19th time that they like their starters. Well, everybody knows they like Trent Williams. He's really good. Everybody knows they like Dom Pooney. They drafted him pretty high. Everybody knows they like Colton McKivitz. Colton McKivitz is almost a near Pro Bowler and one of the favorite guys on the team. Burford is not going to be on the team. So what are we really talking about? That entire answer from Lynch was all about Brendel.
Yeah.
That was a Brendel answer. He could have taken out, we really like our starters, and just said, we really like Brendel. So he went out of his way to say that he likes Brendel. So the odds that he's going to pay 5 times what they're paying Brendel to attract Tyler Linderbaum are infinitesimally low. They're not going after Linderbaum. I'm not saying I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I'm with you. But no way. They're not going Linderbaum.
I agree. I don't think it's going to happen. And also, if you saw the news, I think the Ravens said that they offered right now they gave him a market value extension. So if he tests free agency, Tyler Linderbaum, and he makes more, I think the highest right now at center, it's like 18 mil or something like that. So he might go and get 20 to 22 million in free agency. The Niners are not paying a center $20 million a year. It's you kidding me? Especially when they think Jake Brendel has the bee's knees. Or is the bee's knees?
They're not. Yeah, except the bee's knees. Seriously, next time Shanahan says Brendel's the bee's knees, somebody ought to throw a hornet's nest at him.
Something.
Here, Kyle. You want to talk bees? Here's bees.
Oh,
talk this. Here's a freaking hornet's nest. But come on. I mean, seriously, I can't listen to any more of these. It's like, don't pretend that you're not watching the game and just listen to what we tell you. Maybe the Niners will have a new program where none of the fans actually watch the game. We just go to a place where some Niner representative describes to us what happened.
Oh, wow.
So then there's never any adversity. Then was there an interception? No, it was time for the other team to possess the ball. But it was 1st and 5, 1st and 10 on the 15-yard line. I know, but it's their turn now.
Yeah, it's their turn.
It's their turn.
This play was the bee's knees, but we unfortunately gave the ball away. But it was such a great play. Interception. Yeah.
Yeah, the bee's knees. All right. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Habas Law, 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. Thanks to the good people at Habas Law. If you need a good lawyer, call Habas Law, 1-800-INJURED. If you want to win, call Habas Law. If you want to have a successful legal experience, call Habas Law. Why? Because they win. When you get in an accident, insurance companies deny. That's their deal. We're not paying. We're going to stall you out. Here's why we can't pay you, blah, 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 blah. This is why you don't qualify. Habas Law doesn't let them play those games. They yank their sheets. They say, no. This isn't our first rodeo. That's not the rules to the game. And so if you want to win, call 1-800-INJURED, habaslaw.com on the web. I personally attest that these are the finest lawyers in the land. They will fight to make it right. habaslaw.com on the web. Once again, 1-800-INJURED.
Larry.
Yes, Raj.
Before you go, I think Steven Reynolds says you missed his comment. I think he did a super chat. Can you double check? I'll make sure we get it.
For
you guys followed me since I started my Instagram page years ago.
Steven Reynolds, I will go back. I will go back. I don't care if I've got to go to the center of the universe. I will find.
No, he's a real one. He's honestly followed me for over a decade.
So here we go. We're going to tell me which one it is. Is it this one?
No.
This one.
That's the one. Boom. There you go. Steven Reynolds, 4264. He says the former 49ers defensive line is on the trade block. The Vikings have had trade talks with teams regarding Javon Hargrave for Jordan Schultz.
Yeah, I saw that. Another guy that, he was really good coming out of college. He was really good with the Steelers. He had a nice little run with the Eagles. They had that amazing year where he had a bunch of sacks and they had 80, I think, as a team. And then he came to the Niners. They paid him way too much money and he got hurt. He wasn't that effective. He's going to Minnesota. More of the same. No, I hope he's not asking if the Niners should pick him up, are they?
I don't think so. I think he's just saying it. And
he's available. I hear Baltimore may want him. I'm hearing Baltimore. He may go to Baltimore.
I think he'll go to he's used to that division, but also that's a cautionary tale of why the 49ers probably haven't spent money, because that was a blockbuster move by them and didn't work out.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right, that's going to do it for us. I've got to bolt because I got to pick up my daughter from the airport. So I got a jet. So Raj, good to see you, man. I'm headed to spring training, but we'll be back for next Tuesday's live stream. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks to Raj. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to Habas Law. Thanks to our good friends at Sleeper. Thanks to Kev. Thanks to all of you. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of.